Imagine making the safest cars in India. Imagine making the best handling cars in India but still struggling to achieve good sales numbers. That's Skoda and Volkswagen in India for you. This is Left Lane Driver channel and I am Niket. I share stories based on my automotive engineering background and 12 plus years of industry experience also working with OEMs. And this video is about why Skoda and Volkswagen are struggling in India. So if you're planning to buy Skoda or Volkswagen vehicles or you're simply into those cars, this video is going to be for you. So the first and foremost reason many people think out there is because Skoda and Volkswagen started late in India. I'm here to tell you with proof that it is not true. In fact, Volkswagen entered in India in 2007 and Skoda started its operations in 2001. Back in time, cars like Slavia, Superb, Laura were amazing from Skoda stable. Also, if you remember, Volkswagen also launched some of the amazing cars like Jetta, Passat, Phaeton. They were absolutely amazing. Those cars back in time from Skoda and Volkswagen were so good in performance. They were so good in terms of interior, quality, the plushness. Many people considered them rivals, direct rivals to brands like Jaguars, BMWs, Mercedes, Volvos back in time. Because those cars had great engines, great transmissions, enthusiasts quickly fell in love with them. And that was the problem. Only enthusiasts fell in love with them. We are talking about the decade of 2000 to 2010, where people were still into Kitna Deti Hai, like that uncle in your family, right? We have everybody have that one uncle in the family who only talks about Kitna Deti Hai. Most buyers talked about mileage, resale value, reliability, service network, etc. And these two Europeans did less care about those aspects back in time. And that's exactly what Japanese manufacturers were knowing, and they were doing absolutely right things about that. Think about that time. Suzuki, Honda, Toyota. These three were giants. They are giant even today. They knew something fundamental about Indian consumers' mindset, right? They knew Indian buyers wants efficiency. Indian buyers always plan their exit first, so they want resale value. Also, they want peace of mind by not having so much of expense of maintenance cost, and they also would want a service center nearby their house. So they planned the strategy properly. Japanese manufacturers sold trust, and that's what Indian consumers were looking for. Honda ensured that the quality is right, the performance is amazing. Suzuki ensured that the maintenance cost and ownership cost remains in check. Toyota ensured that the quality of service and quality of vehicles remains amazing. I know few of the Toyota customers who have owned their Fortuners or Innovas for more than 10 years now. 10 years. Do you know any Skoda owner who has owned 10 years? Or any Volkswagen customer, Polo, 10 years? I don't know. So because these Japanese brands were doing amazing by knowing the mindset, that's exactly where these Europeans lacked. And that was another issue. The footprint of service centers. Now, if I am here to address the elephant in the room, the service was a major challenge. Not only service, in general, I remember the Polo, the Vento, the Phaeton, the Passat had few issues with the engine. They also had few issues with the DSG gearbox. The gearbox was amazing, and that was followed by delay in parts availability. So that created a notion for the customers that the after sales expectations were not just right for these European giants in India. They could have simply ensured that the service quality was as expected, the parts should have arrived on time, and they may have won the game for sure. You know, such kind of issues in automotive marketing language, what you did back in 2012 can still hurt you in 2026, just like your life. And that led to the next problem in life, the resale value. So here is the next issue. Because they did not sell much cars initially in the first go, the resale became a problem. And Indian buyers back in time loved to plan their exit. Even some of the Indian buyers today. How many of people you know in your circle, in your family, that they think about resale value even before they plan to buy a car? We have such family members, right? And friends also. Let me know in the comment section if you have come across such. And when it comes to resale value, historically, these Japanese and Koreans have nailed it. The Toyota, the Honda, the Suzuki, even Hyundai for that matter, they have ensured that the resale value remains the way their customer wants. And they were able to do it just because they were selling good number of cars. But Skoda and Volkswagen could have turned the tables around. They had one trump card under their sleeve, which they didn't use. The SUV card, which the others played on time. This is a topic about India's obsession about SUVs. Think about this. Kushaq, late. Taigun, late. Kushaq, very late, right? All these three cars based on Slavia platform were developed much later, when the SUV segments were already saturated. Honda saw this at a later stage as well, but they were able to sustain it. Toyota, at the other hand, they just nailed it. They were already present in the beginning with cars like Fortuner, even the high-end vehicles like Land Cruiser, LC200, Prado, etc. Along with the good MUVs or MPVs like Qualis, later Innova, they were just dominating the MPV or SUV segment back in time. They ensured that the notion about these SUVs are not hampered by an image of cost of ownership being higher side. I remember the Land Cruiser had a service bill of probably 7,000 to 11,000 rupees for a 40,000 kilometer service back in 2013. Can you imagine that? Simply you can't. So back in time, India wasn't buying the cars anymore. They were buying road presence. But you know what? It's not all gone. Here is a plot twist. They, in the journey, Skoda and Volkswagen, in the journey, achieved something which these brands are still struggling to achieve. Place in the hearts of enthusiasts. Today, Volkswagen and Skoda are known as enthusiasts vehicle. Though they offered some of the top-notch quality, comfort, performance, safety, but still the million-dollar question remains. Can Skoda and Volkswagen still win? The answer is they already are winning. The India 2.0 strategy is working good for them. The localization of production helped reducing the cost of production. Ownership cost has been now in check. They are working on the after-sales service experience as well. And that all those things are happening because they were able to produce at a lower cost. Let's face it, because they have now understood finally that India rewards trust, low cost of ownership, low maintenance cost, peace of mind, basically. So if you're in a market to buy a new car, which one would you pick? Would you go for a Hyundai or a Kia, Koreans? Or would you go for Japanese like Honda, Toyota or Suzuki? Or you would still prefer Europeans? Let me know in the comment section below. Here is another interesting video about Toyota's strategy in India. Why Toyota never fails. The link of that video is on the upper right corner of your screen. Also in the description box below. So hit that like button if you like the video by now. If you agree with me, share your thoughts in the comment. If you don't agree with me, that's absolutely okay. Do share those thoughts as well. Share this video with your like-minded friends and family members and keep on watching Left and Rebel. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, happy motoring.